In 2,700 years, no one had touched her crown. But when archaeologists finally opened her tomb in Greece, they found something that made them step back in horror. The golden crown wasn't on her head where it should be. It was placed upside down on her chest, a deliberate act that in ancient Greece meant only one thing. This woman's power had been stripped from her, even in death. But who was she? And what did she do that was so threatening they had to humiliate her for eternity? Her name has been lost to time, but her story is about to make you question everything you thought you knew about power, betrayal, and revenge in the ancient world. Because this wasn't just a burial. The tomb was discovered in northern Greece, hidden beneath layers of earth and centuries of silence. When the excavation team broke through the stone seal, they expected to find what they'd found in other noble burials: jewelry, pottery, maybe some weapons. But this tomb was different. The chamber was filled with riches, gold bracelets that caught the light like fire, bronze mirrors polished to perfection, ceramic vessels painted with scenes of daily life. Everything suggested she was important, maybe even royalty. But then they saw it. The crown, reversed, its points digging into her ribs instead of reaching toward the sky. In ancient Greek burial customs, this was sacrilege. It meant her authority was rejected, her legacy erased. But why? The archaeologists found no inscriptions, no name, no explanation. Just her bones, her treasure, and that haunting, upside-down crown. Someone wanted her remembered, but as a cautionary tale. To understand what happened to her, we need to go back 2,700 years, to a Greece that looks nothing like the white marble ruins we imagine today. This was the archaic period, a time of blood and ambition, where cities were controlled by aristocratic families who fought each other for dominance. Women in this era weren't powerless, far from it. Noble women held property, influenced politics through their husbands and sons, and in some cases ruled as priestesses with divine authority. Our noblewoman lived in this world. Based on the artifacts found with her, luxury goods from across the Mediterranean, she was connected to trade, diplomacy, maybe even religion. She would have worn fine linen dyed with expensive purple, walked through columned halls, and made decisions that affected hundreds of lives. But in a world where power was everything, one wrong move could destroy you. Here's where it gets darker. Among her grave goods, archaeologists found something unusual. A small bronze dagger, still sharp, placed deliberately near her left hand. Not decorative, not ceremonial, functional. Why would a noblewoman be buried with a weapon? Some experts believe it's evidence of what she did in life. That she wasn't just a victim of political intrigue, but an active player. There are whispers in the archaeological community about what this means. Did she assassinate someone? Was she part of a failed coup? Or, and this is the theory that's gaining traction, was she a priestess who defied the gods? In ancient Greece, priestesses held terrifying power. They could declare omens, curse enemies, and even overturn political decisions by claiming divine disapproval. If she used that power against the wrong people, if she prophesied against a king or condemned a powerful family, they would have to destroy her. No, they had to make an example. They had to bury her in a way that told everyone, this is what happens when you challenge us. And here's what breaks my heart about this story. We'll never know her name. She was powerful enough to terrify her enemies, wealthy enough to be buried with gold, important enough that they couldn't just erase her. But her name, gone. If that doesn't make you feel something, I don't know what will. If you're already hooked, hit that subscribe button, because we're only halfway through this mystery, and what comes next is going to change how you see ancient Greece forever. Also, drop a comment. Do you think she was a murderer, a priestess, or something else entirely? Let's talk about the possibility that haunts every historian who studies this tomb: betrayal. Because that upside-down crown, it wasn't placed there by strangers. The care taken with the rest of the burial, the positioning of her body, the quality of the grave goods, suggests this was done by people who knew her, maybe even loved her. Imagine this. She's lying on her deathbed, surrounded by family. She's given instructions for her burial, chosen her grave goods, maybe even designed her crown. But after she dies, someone makes a decision. Maybe it's her son desperate to distance himself from her scandal. Maybe it's her husband trying to save his own reputation. Or maybe it's her sister, who always resented her power. Whoever it was, they performed the burial rites correctly in every way but one. They took her crown, the symbol of everything she was, and they flipped it, a silent act of condemnation that would echo through millennia. She couldn't defend herself. She couldn't argue. She was already gone. But what if we've been looking at this all wrong? What if the upside-down crown wasn't a punishment at all, but a promise? Some archaeologists have proposed a radical theory. In certain ancient Greek rituals, inverting symbols was a way to reverse fate, to undo curses, or to prepare the dead for a different kind of afterlife. What if she requested this burial? What if in her final moments, she knew she'd been wronged, and she wanted her burial to be a curse on those who betrayed her? Picture this. She's dying, but she's not afraid. She's furious. She tells her most loyal servant, the only one she trusts, to bury her with the crown reversed. Let them think they've won, she whispers. But in the underworld, I'll have my revenge. It sounds like fantasy, but we have records of ancient Greek curse tablets, thin sheets of lead, inscribed with hexes, buried with the dead to torment the living. What if her entire tomb was one massive curse? What if every archaeologist who's touched her remains, every scholar who studied her bones, has been part of her 2,700-year-old plan for vengeance? Let's step back from theories and think about the woman herself. Forget the mystery for a moment. Forget the crown. Think about what it must have been like to be her. She lived in a world where women's power was always conditional, always contested. She had wealth, influence, maybe even love, but it wasn't enough to protect her. Whether she was murdered, betrayed, or cursed, she ended up in a tomb designed to humiliate her for eternity. And the worst part? It worked. For 2,700 years, she was forgotten. Her name disappeared. Her story was erased. Until now. Because right now, thousands of people are watching this video, learning about her, debating her legacy. We don't know if she was a hero or a villain, a victim or a perpetrator, but we know she mattered. We know she was powerful enough to scare people even after death, and we know that whoever tried to erase her failed, because here we are, still talking about her. If that gave you chills, you need to subscribe, because stories like this, stories about forgotten people who refuse to stay forgotten, are what this channel is all about. And I need to know, are you team she was wronged, or team she got what she deserved? The comment section is about to get wild, and I want to hear your take. Also, hit that like button if you think history is way more dramatic than any TV show. So what does modern science tell us? The archaeologists who excavated the tomb conducted extensive analysis on her remains. Her bones showed signs of a life of privilege, good nutrition, no signs of hard labor. But they also found something disturbing: fractures in her ribs that had healed long before her death. Injuries consistent with violence. Someone had hurt her years before she died. Was it her husband? A political rival? We don't know. But it adds another layer to the mystery. This woman survived an attempt on her life, recovered, and continued to hold power. That takes incredible strength. The chemical analysis of her teeth revealed she'd traveled extensively. Isotopes in her enamel match regions across the Mediterranean. She wasn't trapped in one city. She moved, traded, negotiated. She was a player on the international stage. And yet, despite all this, someone felt threatened enough by her to desecrate her burial. What does that tell us? Not because she was cruel, but because she was effective. Here's the revelation that's going to stay with you. The upside-down crown might not be about her at all. It might be about us, the people who found her. Think about it. For 2,700 years, this woman has been lying in the dark, waiting. Every society that's risen and fallen since her death, every empire that's conquered Greece, every war that's swept across that land, she's been there, unchanged, patient. And now in 2025, when we're obsessed with true crime and mysteries and powerful women who break the rules, we find her. It's almost poetic. Maybe the real question isn't what did she do, but what is her story teaching us? Because we live in a world where powerful women are still punished for their ambition, still erased from history, still buried under layers of silence and shame. And yet they keep coming back. They keep being rediscovered. This noblewoman, whoever she was, is proof that you can try to destroy someone's legacy, but you can't destroy the truth. The truth always finds a way out. Listen, if you've made it this far, you're exactly the kind of person I make these videos for. Someone who cares about the forgotten stories, the buried truths, the women who history tried to erase. So do me a favor. Subscribe to this channel so we can keep uncovering these stories together. Leave a comment telling me what historical mystery you want me to investigate next. And share this video with someone who needs to hear this story. Because every share, every comment, every like, it's another way of saying, she mattered, they all mattered, and we're not gonna let them be forgotten again. Now let's make sure her story goes viral. Before we go, I want to leave you with one final image. Close your eyes and picture this. It's a cold morning in ancient Greece. The funeral procession has ended. The mourners have left. There's only one person standing at the edge of the tomb. Maybe a servant, maybe a daughter, maybe an enemy. They're holding the crown. It's heavy. Gold always is. They look down at the body, wrapped in fine linen, surrounded by treasures. And then they make the choice. They flip the crown upside down and place it on her chest. Do they feel guilt? Triumph? Fear? We'll never know, but in that moment, they changed history. They created a mystery that would outlive empires. And here's the thing. That person is dust now. Everyone who knew her name is dust. The city she lived in is ruins. But her story just went viral in 2025. So who really won? The people who tried to humiliate her, or the woman who just made thousands of people stop scrolling to learn about her life? I think we both know the answer. Thanks for watching. This is why I love history. Because the dead aren't really dead as long as we keep telling their stories.